Hello to the team at Golden Years Concierge Senior Services. My name is Jeff Bradley, and I wanted to thank you for replying to my Facebook business page post about ranking your website. So I'm looking here on your site, and I'm looking to see what I might be able to find that could help you to improve your Google ranking. So I'm looking, and the first thing that I did was I did a little bit of research to find out what are the most high traffic volume keywords that people use when looking for your services. And I discovered that there are three that are far and away above the others in terms of traffic volume, search volume per month. And those keywords are retirement communities, retirement homes, senior living, senior housing, senior homes, and independent living. And all of those keywords I just mentioned, they are getting about 200 to 300 searches per month in the Renton area. So that's fairly high search volume. Now, the problem is that 92% of all that business is going to those retirement communities that are on page one already. So that leaves very little left over for anybody else that's not on page one. So that leaves 8% that can spill over onto page two. And past page two, nobody's being seen. You're invisible if you're past page two. So I searched for your ranking, and I looked all the way past page 10, and I cannot find you located anywhere. So I've discovered a couple of things on your site that we can do, that you can do actually with what I'm about to show you, that can make a significant improvement in that situation. So let me show you what I mean. So I went here, and using the search term retirement communities, Renton, Washington, here is page one. So let's run through a couple things real quick. First of all, just to get you get an idea what we're looking at. The first thing we see are the sponsored listings. Now that means that these retirement communities are purchasing ads. They're buying their way here. Now Google tracks and measures all this stuff, and they found that psychologically 70% of searchers on Google, they pass right by these sponsored ads. They don't even look at them. And they determined that psychologically, people are looking to find organic, natural listings, businesses, and in this case, retirement communities that are on page one due to their own merits, not because they bought their way there. So it's just a psychological thing that kind of holds true across the board for all different industries. Now, all the businesses that I've worked with, I have actually never once found, or I've never once talked with a business owner that was happy with their Google ads. Now, I know that they do work for some people in some situations, but overall, and especially in your case, I would tend to just skip that. Well, won't even worry about that. So the next thing we find is the map section. Now this area is specifically works for those searchers that know that they're going to have to drive to a physical location, a store or a brick and mortar place. And in your case, of course, the retirement community itself, you're located in Renton, near Lake Washington. So obviously people are going to want to have directions on how to get there. So it's always good to be in the map section. It's good to have name recognition, but this is a different area altogether, over and above the things that I'm going to show you right now about your website. So we could talk about the map section later. And we could discuss that if you'd like. But for right now, let's talk about your organic listing. Now, once we get past the maps, the first thing we're going to see is we're going to get hit with all these directories. Caring.com, the 10 best independent living communities. Now, once again, Google has determined that most people skip the directories. When you're searching on Google, you're on page one, you're already in a directory. It's everybody that's on page one. and beyond. So we're already in a directory. Why would we want to click into another directory where we're just going to land into a big listing of more businesses to look at? And in addition to that, everybody in the directory is there because they purchased their way there. So once again, it's kind of the same deal as the Google ads. People are buying their way there, and purchasing your way into these directories and purchasing ads is it's a bidding scenario. So you never know from month to month what your cost is going to be. The bidding can go up, 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 depending on how much traffic is flowing through your area. So for the money, I would bypass this as well in your case. Let's get you organically ranked onto page 1. And here is how we can get you headed in that direction. So now we're down into the organic listings. And these are the top businesses or retirement communities that are on page 1. There's Village Concepts. There's this is another directory. There's Merrill Gardens, Chateau Retirement Communities, etc. So let's take a look at these. Now, why are they on page 1? Now, the first thing that Google looks at when ranking a business of any kind is your title tag. Now, these blue lines of text in the Google search results, these are all the title tags. Now, the title tag tells Google what it is that your business is about, and it tells Google what keywords you want people to use to find you with. Now, the title tag doesn't appear anywhere on your website. If you go into the editing section of your website, there's a place for you to fill in the title tag, and sometimes it's called page title, something like that. And that's where you enter in what you want your title tag to be. So now there is a format that Google wants to see for title tags, and here is the format. You can write this down. It is keyword dash location dash business name. And as you can see here, Village Concepts, they have senior living, that's their keyword. And then they don't have a dash, but they have Renton, Washington, that's the location. And then they have this bar. Google usually doesn't like these, but Google likes dashes instead. But then they have their business name. So this pretty much fits into the format of what Google wants to see. The very first organic listing is Solstice at Renton. And they've also got all those factors in place in their title tag, but they're kind of jumbled up out of order. They've got independent senior living. That is their keyword. And then they've got Renton, Washington, and then they've got the name of their business. So they've got the same data in their title tag. It's just kind of jumbled up. Which brings me to a point I want to make. Now keep this in mind. It's very important. In order to rank on page 1 of Google, you don't have to have the greatest website in the world. All you have to do is know what it is that Google is looking at when looking at your website, and then doing those things just a little bit better than everybody else is doing in your area for your industry. So what we're seeing here is these websites here are doing those few things that Google looks at, doing them better than everybody else. Now, if the competition level is not very high in your area, by that I mean if every other retirement community's website in your area is all messed up, then the competition level would not be very high for you to put together a nice website that's properly optimized. And that'll catch Google's attention real fast, and you will skyrocket in the rankings. So let me show you what I mean by all of this. I'm going to open up this scanning tool, and we're going to take a look and see what your title tag is right now. Your title tag, now this would be the blue line of text that shows up in your Google listing, if I could find your Google listing, but I couldn't find it. So maybe I missed it, but I went all the way back past page 10 and could not find you anywhere. So, but anyway, this is your title tag right now. It's a home dash Golden Years Concierge Senior Services. So what this is doing, this is telling Google that these are the very keywords that you want people to use to find you with. Now, the problem with this is that nobody searching for your services would ever even know to type in these words in their search. They would never type in home, golden years, concierge, senior services. They wouldn't ever even know to do that. Now, let me show you how critically important this is. If I copy this right now, I'm going to copy your title tag, and I'm going to open up a new tab, and I'm going to paste it in. And watch what happens. Paste and go. Boom, look at, you come up #1 on page 1 in my new search when I use this title tag. So there you are. You dominate page 1. However, as we mentioned, no one will ever use these search words in their search. So we need to get this dialed in accurately. So my recommended title tag for you is retirement communities - Renton, Washington - golden years concierge senior services. And we could do some research just to find out if retirement communities would be best to go with, or if senior living would be the way to go, or senior housing, or independent living. All those keywords have pretty much the same traffic volume right now. So we might end up researching all of your competitors' websites to see what keywords they're actually ranking for. And that might help us to make our decision. But in our example right now, let's just go with retirement communities - Renton, Washington - and your business name. That would be your title tag. Now, this brings us to the second thing that Google looks at when trying to rank you, and that is your H1. Now, the H1, which stands for header 1, is a line of text, and it usually appears somewhere towards the top of your website, and you can place it anywhere you want to. But Google looks for your H1. Now, in your editing section of your website, there's an H1 text field, and there's also an H2, H3, H4, H5, H6, etc. And all of those H fields have different purposes, and they do different things. However, the H1 is the one that we are concerned with. And the H1 must match your title tag exactly. So if your title tag is going to be retirement communities - Renton, Washington - golden years concierge senior services, if that is going to be your title tag, then that must also be your H1. And your H1 can be placed anywhere towards the top of your website, wherever you want to have it, whichever looks good. But you must use the H1 field to put that in there. Now, when you have a title tag and a matching H1, of course, right now you don't even have an H1, so you've got some H2s, but you're missing an H1. Google must see your H1, and it must match the title tag. And when that happens, when you have a matching title tag and H1, now there is a crystal clear channel of communication between your website and Google's algorithm. Now Google knows precisely what your website is about, what it is that you want to rank for, where you're located, and Google now knows what searchers to send directly to your website. So when those two things are dialed in accurately, that is going to make a huge impact on your Google ranking. Now, this brings me to the third thing that I want to point out real quickly. Now, everything that I just talked about, your title tag, H1, and content for your page that includes keywords. I didn't mention that, but that's an important thing that we could discuss at some other time. When those things are dialed in accurately, all of that together makes up about 50% of your ranking power. Now, the other 50% lies in your backlink profile. Now, you probably know what backlinks are. That's when outside sources or on the internet link back to your website. And when that happens, whatever ranking power that outside website has, some of that ranking power is going to flow back to you, to your website, and add to your ranking power. So I took a look to see what your backlink profile is right now. And all of those on-page things that I mentioned, plus your backlink profile, added together equals your domain rating. And this is on a scale from 0 to 100. And right now your domain rating is 0 because you have no backlinks from no linking websites. So obviously you're just starting out. So this is a good starting foundation to start with right at the beginning. And what happens is what we would do is we would begin to create a campaign of backlink building for you. We have a nationwide network. My team and I have a nationwide network of outside linking sources for just hundreds and hundreds of different industries that are good quality websites. And we can begin building backlinks from the appropriate types of websites back to your website and start getting some good quality ranking power flowing back to your site. Now, on average, businesses that are on page 1 of Google usually have a domain rating somewhere in the teens, in the 20s, sometimes 30s, and as the population level goes up, the domain rating goes up as well for the people who are on page 1. So here's your domain rating. Let's take a look at your top competitors in Renton, see what their backlink profile is. Now this is very interesting. Solstice Senior Living, they are the #1 ranking organic listing. They have a domain rating of only 4.7, and that's really amazing, which means that out of their 72 backlinks from 28 websites, these are very, very good quality backlinks from good quality websites. They have a good, well-optimized website, and it's adding up to just enough domain rating to get them onto page 1 because the rest of the retirement communities in the Renton area are not putting up much of a competition level for ranking. So this is quite exciting, and this inspires me to see that the hill is not that steep for you to climb to be able to really get up onto page 1. Now, check this out though. Competitor number 2, Village Concepts, has a domain rating of 33. Now, I think the reason for this, well, they got 1,500 backlinks. From what I can tell, this looks like they are a franchise, and they are receiving backlink power from all the different franchises and from the head of the franchise, the corporate head. So this is a composite of all these different websites. So it's not exactly in your competition field for organic rankings. I mean, it's a franchise. It's hard to beat out a franchise. Number 3 competitor, same story. Merrill Gardens, domain rating of 50. That's pretty high. 703,000 backlinks. Whew, that's pretty high. This is another franchise, obviously. However, as we get past these two giants, Chateau Retirement is also on page 1. Their domain rating is only 23. It's not that high. Only 600 backlinks. This is still well within your means to catch and even surpass in the rankings. So I just wanted to give you the lay of the land and show you what you're up against, give you an idea what where your starting point is and what to do moving forward. So if you'd like to know more about all these things, there's a lot to this, and I didn't mean to go 20 minutes. My apologies. But if you'd like to know more about these things, I'd be happy to have a conversation with you on the phone at some point even, and answer all your questions. And we could put together a plan and to see what it would look like to get you moving forward and get you raising up in the rankings and get you onto page 1. But for now, just take the first things that I discussed with you, the title tag and the H1. Get those things dialed in correctly, and I would be very interested to see what impact that would have in your rankings. So I'm very encouraged by what I see and the competition level in Renton. So just get back to me, and if you'd like, we can have a conversation about this, and I could answer all your questions. That's what I do. I get businesses ranked onto page 1 of Google, which means that you will be capturing, you'd be one of the businesses that are capturing that 92% of that business in Renton, those 200 to 300 searches per month for retirement communities in Renton. So, and obviously, that would have a huge impact on your monthly revenue. So, anyway, thank you for watching the video, and hope to hear from you soon. Take care. Bye now.